Hey guys, welcome back to the biggest, fastest growing podcast in the entire universe. My name is Nona Lisa. This is the F My Life podcast. I feel very aggressive today for numerous reasons, and this is my co-host, Lyde.
I'm so sorry. I just keep forgetting that I'm supposed to do the intro, but okay, next time, guys, I promise.
We are like on episode 8, and Lyde still hasn't done the intro for the podcast.
Okay, I promise. I'm talking to Usher right now. We're trying to cue some bars. I'm gonna get it together for you guys. Don't worry.
This better be like the best intro in the entire world.
Trust me, I will. Let it burn. Remember last week we told you guys that we would like switch a tire this time around?
It didn't happen.
When?
Wait.
It did.
It did? Okay, so guys, listen to this. Lyde FaceTimed me today, right? And he was telling me about jokes that he's gonna try to set up in the podcast. But clearly I forgot about the setup. And also, one thing I told Lyde, I'm like, if you want to do a joke in the podcast, just do it. Don't tell me about it before. Didn't I tell you that?
No, but I told you. No.
But okay, let's try again. Hey guys, welcome back to the F My Life podcast. My name is Nona Lisa, and I'm here with my co-host Lyde.
Hi guys, how's it going? I promise I will get the intro next season, not next episode.
Okay, go do your stupid joke now. Go.
Yeah. So remember last time we like told you guys Nona and I would switch a tire in this episode? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she's over there looking like a boy, and I'm over here looking like Tinkerbell who had too much hamburgers.
Wait, I don't even get that joke.
It ain't come across.
The whole points of jokes are for them to be funny.
I know, but never mind. Whatever.
Lyde, I don't know if you had told me that was the joke before, I would have been like, don't even do it.
Don't even say that.
Yeah, don't even bother.
But I do look like Tinkerbell who had too many hamburgers.
You're not even wearing green. Tinkerbell wears green.
Okay, this was
she
supposed
wears
to
a
encourage
dress.
people to go look at the video on your
Guys,
channel.
if you're listening to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, you can also watch it on my YouTube channel, Nona Lisa. You will see us looking extra sexy today. I wore a short skirt for you.
And I wore the same thing I wore last week.
And Lyde wore the same thing he wore last week because...
I told you, this wardrobe is very short and sweet.
It's limited.
It stops here.
But you know what? He has the basics. He just sticks to the basics.
Underwear, like a belt.
And like 2 pairs of
9
shoes.
toes.
You have 9 toes.
I do. Well, you know what I'm saying?
That...
Oh, no.
Big
That's
toe
not a toe.
though.
That's not a toe. That's bigger than a big toe, you know what I'm saying?
Anyway.
Moving right along.
This intro is like 3 minutes long.
Great. No, we only got 27 minutes to go.
Guys, we are in quite a mood today. I'm actually in a really bad mood, but I'm trying to fake it.
You're doing a good job. You're
job.
faking it so much that like I'm like, wow, I wish this were you all the time. Like how do I get you to fake your good mood?
Like, Lyde knows I'm not this smiley in real life all the time. And I mean, who is? But you know, there are just people who are like...
Lyde knows and Lyde feels the brunt of the fact that...
But you know, people who are like chipper and in a good mood, that's not me, baby.
This bitch be depressed all the time. Like,
I could be... No.
She had therapy this morning before 6.
I did. No, but here's the thing. I can be fully content in life, happy as hell that day.
You're a functional depressant.
Yes, but also I could be fully happy that day, but when you look at my face, I look so fucking sad. But on the inside, I'm great.
And that's all that matters. No one needs to know that you're sad if you're sad, or you're happy if you're happy, as long as you feel it.
As long as I feel it on the inside.
Amen.
Hallelujah, baby. Anyways, how are you feeling today?
I'm excited. I'm moving to a new place. I just got a co-op, so I'll be moving, and you guys will see that eventually, because
we're actually gonna use Lyde's new apartment as a new studio space, and it's gonna be way better than my curtains here in the background, and it's gonna be a lot more professional looking, and now y'all can stop talking shit about the podcast setup.
And by professional, she means the background will be my kitchen.
No, no, we're fixing it up real good.
Yes, this is what the proceeds of this podcast has led to.
Yes.
So thank you all very much for your contributions to my OnlyFans account.
Thank you very much.
So what are we talking about today?
Today, I wanted to get into money.
Are we broke?
Well, we used to be broke.
Oh yes, guys, we used to be broke back in the day.
We're gonna tell you about our broke stories.
Yo, for fun, me and Nona used to go and like set up coffee dates at Dunkin' Donuts and go buy a cappuccino and split it between.
Oh no, not a cappuccino, baby, a regular black coffee, $2.50. All right, let me tell you
Because
something.
to add sugar, to add milk, no, baby, that's over the credit card limit.
No, babes.
No.
When we were in college, and even me a little bit. No. Because I started bartending in college. Our like first 3 years in college, maybe. Mm-hmm. Because by your 4th year, you didn't have money, but you were like,
I had a job lined up, so I had future cash flows. So something.
So
like
let me tell y'all, we were so fucking broke. We would walk to Dunkin' Donuts. We didn't have cars.
Which is 1 block away.
We didn't even have licenses. All right. We would walk to Dunkin' Donuts and we'd sit there for like 2 hours and drink one fucking coffee. And that was our thing that we did to hang out.
That was our party.
And we did that only when you were... Light went to Cornell, which is upstate. Only when you were here, which is like every couple months, right?
Every couple months because then I couldn't afford to come every month.
Yes.
Even though the bus ticket was $88 round trip.
Yes, and but outside of that, I didn't go out. And I had a boyfriend at the time, and the boyfriend was broke. So
you both didn't go out.
So we both didn't go anywhere. So our little coffee
Homebound
dates
forever.
were like the only thing I had to socialize.
The only excursion that Nona was privy to.
Literally that and taking the train to the city to go to school. That was it.
Oh, for me it was that, taking the train, the bus back to school, and hooking up. But same thing.
Ooh, she was hooking up in college.
Anyway, this podcast, I think we wanted to talk to people about basically why we're broke and why they should listen to it. You know how we say, like in previous podcasts we've said, guys, we're not experts on this subject, like whether it's love, money, or drugs. But like, we're literally really not experts in personal finance. Like, we are financially illiterate.
Yeah, but we're experts in being broke, though.
We
know how to be broke.
So, I guess we could tell them what not to do.
What not to do. We're going to tell you what not to do.
Yes. This is don't do this, but you figure out what to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll leave it up to you.
It's a process of elimination.
Exactly. Like A, B, C. Like, I don't know about D. Like, but just A, B, C, and then we left you with D. You kind of know like D is the only option, so you kind of have to choose that one. Mm-hmm. So when we recommend things like tax evasion and like stealing your neighbor's gas out of his car, like, don't go quoting us, right? Like, that's actually criminal, and that's foul. So just keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm. But Light and I have actually come a very long way in our financial journeys. We're both immigrants. We both didn't move here with a lot of money. Our parents don't really have money. So, it's really just up to us at this point.
Right. We're building the blocks of the building of the blocks. Whatever that
means. No.
We're the blocks and
there's no blocks.
There's no blocks. We just got some...
There's just grass and land.
There's the potential, baby.
There's a potential for blocks, but...
We are... With the thought, it's a thought that counts.
We're thinking about the blocks right now.
We're thinking about the blocks. But, so my first question regarding personal finance, it goes to... No. Well, there's no one else here. But I'm just confirming that I'm not going to answer my own question. Is when you get married, when you divorce your husband, will you pay him alimony?
Why would you assume that?
Why, that you get divorced?
No, that I would get married.
Because I feel like you want to? No? Okay. Rob, let me rephrase that question. If you were to get married, and if you were to divorce after you got married, would you pay your husband alimony?
Wait, that requires me making more money than him.
Yes,
correct?
and we know that is what will happen.
Honestly, guys, the way things been looking and going.
Like, these niggas be broke as bugger.
Yo, these dudes don't have jobs. They have nothing going on. They have no prospects. What? No, because if going into it, I know that I'm making more money, I'll get a prenup.
Good answer. Next question.
Hell fucking no.
Yes, and a prenup is essential.
Okay, that's the first lesson. Get a prenup.
Oh, no, we gotta tell them what not to do. Don't not get a prenup.
Don't not get a prenup, baby.
There we go. Don't not get a prenup.
Please get a prenup. And I know, so like the question is like, if I found a rich husband, would I want to sign the prenup? Mm-hmm. And I'm just like,
oh, okay. This is a conditional prenup.
I think, okay, there are conditional prenups?
Like, if...
You could get a conditional prenup. Like, if your spouse cheats on you, you're entitled to have their shit.
Damn, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Not
Why?
because I
Because
would-
you're gonna cheat?
No, but okay, fine, maybe.
But okay, if somebody's really rich, I might sign the prenup. Yeah, I feel like I will have to.
I mean, there's other ways you can pilfer their money.
Oh my god.
Shell companies and somebody's FaceTiming you right now.
That is absolutely terrible. Oh, it's Jonathan. My friend Jonathan is FaceTiming me right now. I'm gonna have to decline that call.
You should have taken a screenshot of the.
Oh no.
Anyway, yes. So first thing, do not get a prenup.
Do not get a prenup. Keep, if you're getting married, you know, you're gonna probably have a joint bank account for expenses and stuff, but still keep a little money on the
Why am I gonna have a
side.
joint bank account for?
Because that's
Do we
what
have
married.
joint expenses?
That's what.
Why am I having
Yeah,
a
you
joint
have
account for the non-joint expenses?
No,
Please.
because you live
Explain.
together. You're gonna pay your mortgage or rent together, bills.
Oh nah, baby, he paying for everything.
You know that ain't happening with you.
Okay, that is exactly the he I'm referring to is me. Actually,
Yeah, you're literally gonna pay for everything because you make more money.
Right. Period. So okay, that's the first.
Yeah. So if you
Bold,
have,
italicized, underline.
do not get the prenup, and you have a little secret separate bank account where you have a little stash.
That Louis Vuitton. Oh, I keep saying Louis Vuitton. Duffel bag. Like you gotta. There's a purpose for that bag, baby.
Yeah.
Keep
Put
that
the
dry
cash in
cash
the
up in
bag.
there. Cash is king.
Put it under the bed.
Put it in
Put
some
it in the
Bitcoin.
garage.
Hide it somewhere. You know what I'm
Hide a
saying?
little bit of money somewhere. Even just always have a little schmicker,
a little emergency
a
fund.
little emergency
Which
fund.
brings me to that point. I like how the entire world population discovered what an emergency fund was when COVID hit. Because when COVID hit, people lost their jobs and they're like, what? I should have had an emergency fund? What?
True.
Like, why not? Why should you not have had an emergency
think-
fund? But I think the question people struggle with, like, how large should the emergency fund be?
Yes.
Like, it should be separate from your savings. Like, what do you think?
Oh, absolutely. And I think a lot of people in America, I can't remember what the percentage is, but a lot of people in America don't even have savings. Like they're living paycheck to paycheck, and just have no concept of saving, or they cannot afford to. And I honestly could not live my life like that.
Yeah, I think it. When people hear emergency fund, they're like, "Oh my god, how do I even save for it?" But personally, I feel like the emergency fund should be like 3 times your monthly paycheck. Like that's it. It doesn't need to be large. It
That's
just needs
actually quite large, Light.
Oh, thank you. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think that's quite large. Most people cannot afford that.
Okay, fine. Do better, guys. I don't know what else to say. Like, but I think like okay, fine. Okay, 2 times your monthly check.
I think you should start with $1,000. Shut the fuck up. If you're now starting out, you're in college, you're just out of college, even if you're 30 years old and you've been working for 10 years, put away $1,000.
$1,000. Okay, you just arbitrarily.
That's
pick
your
that number out
emergency
your
fund.
ass.
That fund is for in case you get sick, in case your dog gets sick. If you only have $1,000 emergency fund, you probably shouldn't own a dog because that's too expensive for
That's
you.
another thing.
But
do not get a dog.
do not
if
get a pet
you
if
a broke
you can't afford
nigga,
it.
do not get a dog.
Don't get no dog, don't get no fish, don't get no cat, don't get no lizard, nothing. All right, you can't afford it.
Maybe.
But start with $1,000, and when you get to that $1,000, you should start working on your debt.
Yeah, I think so too. Like an emergency fund is just a bridge to the next. Like if you were to lose your job today,
Yes.
would you have anything to at least suffice you until? Okay, let's say you lose your job in the middle of the month, right? And you still get paid for like the rest of the month or whatever. You have like a few days or a few weeks to like catch yourself, and then you'll need to start using your emergency fund to bridge you to the next job opportunity. Like
Yeah.
that's literally what it was.
Absolutely.
Because during COVID, a lot of people lost their jobs, but then the jobs shifted to another sector, right? There was more shipping and handling jobs because people were staying at home and the need for shipping and handling was greater. So, like, it's literally just a bridge to the next job opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think it's super important that people have, but they don't think about it and they
Yeah.
think scared. They feel scared when they think about it because they feel like it's this insurmountable amount of money that they have to
Yeah.
save, but it really isn't.
Yeah. So, put that $1,000 aside, and then start working at your debt. Your student loan debt, your car debt. By the way, speaking of car debt, one of
Oh
the
my
biggest
God.
mistakes young people make is getting the expensive car, leasing the expensive car, when baby, you can't really afford it. One or two, you have so much debt and you're adding even more debt.
Baby, first of all, who be leasing a Rolls Royce? Put your hands up.
No, but these people are like in their 20s leasing these expensive cars when baby you got your debt to pay.
Or why you financing a Lamborghini, baby? Like, first of all, if you gotta finance a Lamborghini, I just feel like you shouldn't get a Lamborghini. You know what I mean? Like, am I wrong? Like,
Well, no,
is that overreach?
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like a Mercedes or a Lexus or whatever. Which actually Lyde hasn't taken this advice himself because Lyde has an expensive car.
Win.
But the thing with Lyde's income, he can fully afford this car even though it's expensive.
Oh, thank you, bestie. I didn't know
Shut
you
the
felt
fuck
so
up.
highly of me.
And
and my
also,
income.
Lyde doesn't spend excessively on other areas of his life.
I just told y'all I don't got clothes. You literally
Yeah,
see me wear
Lyde
this
wears
same
like
shirt
the same
last
5
week.
shirts. The only other thing Lyde probably spends money on is eating out, and I know that's
And
not
condoms,
hurting
that's
him. Lyde isn't having sex, so you're not buying condoms. Don't even like pretend like you're having sex.
No one wants me.
So the car is the only thing he really spends money on, and he can afford it. So he's an exception to that rule.
Oh, look at you.
But baby, if you making $50K a year,
50 who? And that's before
and you
taxes.
getting the 2022 GLE
2020
Mercedes, baby, no.
No.
You got your priorities all messed
yeah,
up.
talk to your shrink.
Go get
Talk to your
that.
priest.
Go get that 2010 Honda Civic. All right.
And we gonna see you driving down the streets of New York
But guess what?
with the top roll down. There's no top. But
There's no
whatever.
top.
You can envision that there is one.
And you'll drive that 2010 Honda Civic, and you'll work on your student debt, and you'll save your money on the side. You'll have your little emergency fund, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, like, listen. You can work and save and eventually get those cars, and you'll still be in your 20s, right? You just have to
Yeah.
be diligent about it, but just being, like, more financially conscious of where you are in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to put yourself in that kind of debt so early on, knowing that you can't manage it. What's the saying? Don't hang your hat where your hand can't reach it.
And I mean, like, you waited a while to get the fancy car, too.
I did.
You worked.
You know, I, like, was petrified of even driving.
Yeah, you worked for maybe a good 3.5, 4 years.
4 years.
And you got bonuses,
Mm-hmm.
you got like big pay raises before you went into even getting the expensive car.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, when I got my car, you wanted me to get something nicer, but I was trying so hard to be conservative.
Yeah.
And to have a car that I don't really have to worry about. Like, I literally tell Lyde, if my car like gets hit tomorrow, I literally don't care about it. I can fix it. I won't even think about it.
Yeah, I feel like you
But
generally
that's
take
how
a
I
much more
wanna-
conservative approach when it comes to
That's how I
spending.
want to live with the car situation.
Yeah. See? But we were, like, smart and thought about it, like, long
Yeah.
term, and rather than, like, short term, be like,
And
oh, I want to get it now.
Also, I spend money on other things, like I'm a girl, I like nice things, you know? Like, I spend a lot of money on makeup and jewelry and shoes and all this stuff that you don't really spend money on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna use a little bit of car money and put it towards that, you know?
Yeah.
So.
That talks all about the balance, right?
But yeah, there's a lot of thought put into it. There is a plan for the future.
Yeah.
And I just feel like people in their 20s are not thinking about this.
No, they're not. And I think that's the problem that many of them face. Like, they're so short term, and they want to get the hype. They want to post for Instagram.
Yeah,
they want the
they want to show
clout.
that they have the lifestyle, but they don't really
Nothing
have
to
it
back
as
it
yet.
up. And, like, we even saw this with, like, one of our friends. Anyway, that's podcast 1, baby. Go listen to that podcast. But
We had an ex-friend that like had no money necessarily and tried to live like this big lifestyle. But it's really just hurting you in the end, babes.
yeah, literally, you're the one that's hurting in the end. Okay, good. So don't get the fancy
Don't
car.
get the
Postpone
fancy
it
car.
till later.
Postpone it.
Yeah, save up
You'll
your money
live.
first.
You'll be okay.
Exactly. Get your license though. Get your license as soon as you turn 16.
Yes.
Don't get the car. You know, borrow somebody else's car. Don't crash it. The next thing I think that traps a lot of people is credit card.
Oh,
Credit card is such a complex.
Go off, best friend. Go
Right?
off.
First of all, back where the what? No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, have you ever had a credit card company cancel a credit card on you just because you're not using it? And you're like, what?
No, but I came close to that situation. I knew they were gonna
Had it
cancel
happen
it.
to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, A credit card company whose name I just mentioned, that I'm not going to mention again,
Bank of America.
canceled a credit card on me because I wasn't using it. I am like, excuse me, sir. First of all, if I use it, is a problem. Now, if I don't use it, is also a problem. You want me to be,
Yeah.
right? It's just frustrating. It really is. Because, like, the rule of thumb is like, oh, you should use less than 10% of your revolving balance.
Yeah.
And the other rule of thumb is you should use your card. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'm gonna use 5%, which is like $5. I'm gonna get a coffee every month.
Yeah.
Fine. Does that make you happy now? But
and
yeah,
why Lad is
sucks.
bringing this up is because if you live in the U.S., you know, everything is like done on credit. We all have credit scores. And if you have an old line of credit and you're not using it, aka the credit card you had, and it gets closed, that affects your credit score.
That was my first credit card I got in college.
Yeah.
And that was like decades ago. So you know I had history, baby. Like I had when Experian and TransUnion saw that card was closed, they called me be like, bro, I'm sorry for your loss. Like literally that's how bad it was.
Yeah. So one, credit card debt. Also, you need to look at what contributes to your credit score, because I know when you're like 21, 22, you're not going to give a fuck about your credit score. But baby, when you're 27, 28 and you're trying to get a mortgage,
right?
Okay,
and rates would be going up.
You gonna need that credit score, all right?
It matters.
It matters. And the credit cards, the little store credit cards y'all be opening, the Victoria's Secret credit card, the Best Buy credit card.
The next time somebody at Walgreens, the cashier at Walgreens, asks you if you want to open a credit card, be like, for what? Look them in the face and be like, for what?
For why?
For
babes?
why? I come here once a week.
And the APRs on those like store credit cards are like 25%, 26%. I'm like,
why they don't put that in my? Why they don't give me a 20 and 25% on my checkings account? Right? Like, you see the unfairness of capitalism here? You see what I'm talking about?
But yeah, I mean, you should have one or two credit cards that you're using,
right? Of
to
course.
build
that
history.
Credit. Yeah.
But you have to make sure that you're paying that entire balance off at the end of the month.
Really.
Okay.
And sometimes it's so tricky when it comes to paying it off, because like, okay, you might charge your card today and put like, let's say a $3,000 something on it, right?
Yeah.
Literally tomorrow it gets reported to the credit union.
Yeah.
And that affects your score, but you don't have to pay the card till 2 weeks after, because that's when the pay cycle ends.
Yeah.
So this is this constant like, shit, when do I actually charge my card so it doesn't affect my credit score, and it isn't captured at the end of we aren't already at the end of the pay cycle where I have to pay it off already. It's like, in my mind, like that's a constant struggle, and timing is just an issue. Like timing that perfectly is just a struggle. So that's why I don't use my credit cards.
Lies lying.
And they get canceled anyway. But
Lied uses his credit cards. He's just very smart about it.
But yeah, okay, good. So credit card debt, gone.
Gone. No credit card debt.
I think
no
we should talk
credit.
about savings too.
Yes. I mean, well, how do you go about saving?
I feel like I save more on default, you know what I mean? Because like income is so large compared to like my expenses. Like the gap is just like I save retroactively, baby. Like in retrospect, at the end of the month, I look back and be like, "Ooh, that extra $5,000. All right, cool. She's sitting there, she's chilling."
So you take a lot more laissez-faire approach to saving.
Yeah, but for the purpose of this podcast, I really have to think about like how the average person should save.
So what I do,
the average person.
I'm the average gal, your average girl. Well, to be honest, I have like good income. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely not like.
No, I was kidding, by the way.
Oh no, but I'm trying to think about my situation compared to somebody who's like working minimum wage, because I don't. But when I used to work minimum wage, I had absolutely no money left to save over.
Oh, literally.
Left over to save. Nothing.
The fact that you had to pay taxes on minimum wage was just like...
absolutely ridiculous.
Baby, if you take $8 from $8.75, you're left with 75 cents. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you see why there's a problem and why, like, we don't like the government? This is why. This is exactly why.
So, like, for the last 2.5 years, I save a third of my income.
Mm-hmm.
My net income, because taxes. I just automatically send a third of it to my savings account. I don't touch it. I don't look at it. I don't think about it. I pretend it's not there. And that still leaves money to pay my bills and like vacation and recreation and pay for my makeup and all the extra stuff.
Yeah.
So that savings, I'm not touching it at all, not one bit. And that's just what it is.
Yeah, I think 1/3 is very healthy.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think like that's what a lot of like these finance, like personal finance articles quote. Like 1/3.
And that
is a
I
healthy
can't
way.
exactly remember, but that's probably where I got it from.
Yeah. They probably used to say they probably usually say something like, "Oh, your rent shouldn't be more than X% of your
Yes.
total income," and then once you deduct all the other expenses, you're pretty much left with like a 30% or something like that. I
Yeah.
think that's really healthy.
But babes, if you can afford to save more than 30%, by all means,
of course,
go ahead.
it's worth it.
Yes, absolutely.
Got the emergency fund first though.
Get that emergency fund, babes. And trade in that new BMW for a Honda Civic, please.
Unless you could afford it strongly.
You know these bitches can't afford it. Like.
So good. We covered prenup, car, savings, credit card. What else is left?
Kids.
Oh, that's simple. Don't have kids.
Just
Next.
don't have kids.
Like legitimately, like why? First of all,
First of all,
there's
we live
too
in
many
New York.
people in the world. 1, there's
2.
limited resources. 3,
You missed 2.
oh, 2, fine. 3,
We live in New York. It's expensive.
4,
It's expensive to have another human being. All right.
and 5.
Just don't have kids.
Trade in the BMW, right? So like, why would you do that to yourself? And okay, fine. I know some people are like, I really want a kid, but like, baby girl, do your bank account want a kid?
That's like we talked about this before, and I told you, I see people that have kids that have no business having kids. Not just because I don't think they're fit parents, but they can't afford it.
A kid is like a credit card with a really high APR. Like, no, think about it, right? Like, you gotta pay it back. You gotta put money towards it, right? And if you don't do it every month or every week or whatever, like, the child suffers. The credit card suffers. Like, you gotta think of a child like a financial product. Like, to be quite honest with you, especially in the United States of America.
Absolutely. And also, if you don't have people around you to help you raise the child emotionally and financially, babes, birth control is cheaper and it's easier, okay?
Are you saying being a single parent is not a good thing?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's not a good thing, because
What about homosexual parents? No?
what does that have to do with this?
No, it's
Oh, if you're single and you want to adopt a kid, as
Yeah.
long as you can afford it, yeah, go ahead, have 10 kids, as
That's
long as
the
you
one I
can
meant, but
afford
okay.
it. I don't understand what you mean.
I don't quite understand what I was
Oh my gosh.
alluding to. Anyway,
Guys, we took a quick pause because my camera was acting up. But we're back!
and better than ever. So yes, we were talking about children and why you shouldn't have them. And to add to that,
Yo, people are
list
gonna
of
think that we
reasons-
hate kids on this podcast.
Kids and men. It's pretty simple.
We
The
live-
list is short.
We literally have an episode that says, don't have kids.
We should have an episode. I have more reasons actually. But okay, fine. If you do decide to go against the grain and have a kid, sure. I guess nothing going back after you had a kid. Besides putting them up for adoption, is when you have them, right? Like, I think from a young age, you need to start training them about financial literacy. Like,
Yes.
at home, you could give them small tasks to do, like taking the trash out, clipping your toenails, and you could pay them for it, right? Like, I know like Chase Bank and other banks, this is not a promo, by the way, have these programs where you can like get checking accounts and saving accounts for like young kids, and you as the parent, you actually monitor the accounts
Yes.
on behalf of your child, and like
Yes.
you can pay them for those tasks directly to the account. They can save money and then they can buy things with it. And I think that reward system is so
Absolutely.
helpful.
Absolutely. I think starting kids out young, learning about what money means, what it means to work for money, and financial literacy, I think it's such a great thing.
Yeah. And, when I think about my family and what they've done, was exactly that when I was a young person. Like, my dad was the breadwinner. He instilled in us the importance of money and the importance of the consistency of money, right? Like, knowing that he had to go and work, he demonstrated with the way he lived his own life. He went to work every day, did what he had to do, even on days when he wasn't feeling like it.
Yeah.
He still went to work and he kept his job and he provided for his family, made sure all his obligations were paid for. We never went a day without wanting. So I kind of took that the value system with me, and I grew up with it, and I think that's a reason why, like, I'm surviving out here.
I actually grew up a little opposite. Like, I mean, my dad always worked, but he kind of raised me with a very weird view of money, to be honest.
What was that view?
He kind of made me feel like having money was a bad thing. Like, you should just have just enough to meet your bare minimum expenses, but shouldn't have anything left over.
And why do you think he felt
and
that
he
way?
he would talk about wealthier people around us like they were bad people because they had more money. I think it's just because he had this inferiority complex. Like, he probably had something that happened to him in the past that made him feel like he probably failed
like
at
money was the root of all evil?
Or he probably failed at making money, so he kind of internalized that and was like, okay.
And he flipped.
Yeah. But it wasn't until I got my first job when I was 16. I had an accounting job at 16 years old. I don't know why they would let me be an accounting clerk at 16 years old, but they did. And that's when I started earning my own money and, like, trying to develop more financial literacy and save, etc.
So who inspired you to, like, improve financial
Oh, just
literacy?
me personally.
Oh, just you?
Yeah. I just always wanted to do better than my parents.
Well, I guess in my mind, like, you had to have gotten that from because they were quite the opposite. So there must have been a competing force that
I think I was just trying not to be like them.
Trying not to be like them.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, basically it. And I feel like growing up in my family too, there weren't a lot of people to look up to that made great financial decisions. This is gonna sound really fucked up if any of my family members are listening, but honestly, it's the truth. And even now, when I look to some of my older family members, they don't really make wise financial decisions.
There's no one you can emulate, really.
No,
you
absolutely
can say,
nobody. I'm absolutely no one. So, like, I have uncles and aunts that are twice my age, and I see some of the decisions they make, and I'm like,
Well, I think there's power in very, very much that, right?
Yes.
The fact that you can identify, like, this is not good, or this is not healthy financially.
Or it is not sustainable long term. Yeah.
Long term, yeah. That's the perfect way to put it. Like, this is not sustainable long term. I need to make a U-turn.
Yeah. So it's literally just, like, breaking away and trying not to be like that.
Interesting. And I think that's so much harder to do than, like, having someone you can emulate and, like, a role model that you can...
Yeah.
A situation or a system where you can replicate, like I had. So... I'm sorry, best friend.
It's okay. And if there's anyone in my personal life that I learned about money from, it would probably be you. You were probably the only other person.
You gonna make a grown girl
And
cry.
I think it's because we're so open with each other. We talk about money all the time. And you have perspective. Like, you work in finance. Not that everything in finance can be related to personal finance, but you do have a lot more perspective than most people.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes, though, I talk about money just a little too much, and I feel like it's it's in so many ways the center of gravity of my world, and I feel like in the past it has affected my relationship with some people, so I'm glad, like...
Oh, you mean like in dating?
Like in dating, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I've had partners in the past who, no offense, right? We're like your father in the sense that they didn't think money was important. They kind of lived paycheck to paycheck. Like, in other words, they didn't want to look into their bank account and see any money. Like, they just felt like they had to spend it on something. You know what I mean? And that philosophy was very contrary to what I believed. And I think that caused a lot of problems in my past relationships. So it's refreshing to hear you say, like, leaning on some of my financial acumen was very helpful to you. So thank you, best friend.
And, like, with couples, I know the number one thing married people at least fight about is money. So it's very important to get a partner that is on the same page with you financially. Not that they have the same amount of money or make the same amount of money, but their beliefs about money and how they treat money is very similar.
Their value system with regards to money, that's so important. I feel like, I can't...
Because you're always going to clash.
Isn't money like one of the top reasons why people divorce anyway?
Absolutely. It's the number one thing couples fight about.
Yeah, exactly. So, pick your money wisely, like the same way you pick your partners, right? Pick your partners wisely.
Yes.
But yeah.
We have, wow. I think we made some sense on this podcast, on this episode.
No, we're doing the reverse. We did not make any sense on this podcast. We told people what not to do.
We told people what not to do. Don't have any kids.
What you do is totally up to you, but at least we told you what not to do.
Yeah.
Take it or
Absolutely.
leave it.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. We love doing this podcast. We've gotten so much great feedback, and we're so happy to keep making this podcast. Keep downloading. Subscribe to my channel, Nona Lisa, on YouTube, where you can watch the podcast. I also post vlogs, so you can watch my vlogs.
And tell a friend about us.
Tell a friend,
Like,
baby.
Sharing is caring. Like,
Yeah.
why would you keep us to yourselves?
Yeah, don't be selfish.
We like foursomes.
Period. Lyde, do you have anything else to say?
I just said it.
Thank you for listening, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.